I'm Anna Hoffman, and welcome back to Data Exposed. Today, I have a new friend joining us, Dan. Dan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks for having me, Anna. Appreciate it. Yeah, my name's Dan Wahlin. I am with Cloud Advocacy at Microsoft and also on the GitHub side. So
Okay.
I get to work with all the latest and greatest cool technologies and kind of tell devs about what's going on.
Okay, awesome. I love that. We love learning what's going on. And today's a cool example because we're going to be talking about like agentic workflows end to end, maybe from concept all the way up to Azure using the GitHub Copilot CLI. I don't really know, but that's why you're here. So I'd love to just kind of dive right in and tell me a little bit about the scenario and why it's important.
Yeah, I think like those that are really diving into AI from a development standpoint are probably pretty good at like I can write a prompt and I can use these other things with my prompt, like skills or agents or whatever it may be. But I find that a lot of folks are still kind of focused on the let's build out the front end, let's build out the back end. Okay, we're done. And of course, to go to production, there's like so much more than that. What's your data story? How are you connecting to the data story securely? And all those types of things. And so we've been working on these agentic workflows or journeys, I should call
Right.
them. And this is kind of it's still in my personal repo right now, which will tell you right away. In fact, I purposely put prototype right here because it's kind of a work in progress. But one of them that we're going to talk about today kind of does what you see here. So, we need to have a plan. We need, whether you call it a PRD or a spec or whatever it is, we have to keep the AI on the guardrails, of course. We need to be able to build out the app. But then that's where things get interesting. And I don't know about you, Anna, if you use like Bicep and AZD and stuff like
Yeah,
that a lot.
absolutely.
I do too, but I wouldn't say like if you say, "Hey Dan, is that your expertise?" Probably
No.
not.
No. Is it anybody's?
Yeah, and that's
Mm.
how I feel. And with the proper planning, though, it turns out, especially with the latest, frontier models and things like that, you can do some pretty amazing things. And that's what we're going to talk through here.
Cool, awesome. So I'm guessing you have, like, an example, and, hey, before we get into it, like, how does SQL play into this story? Because you're talking to a bunch of SQL people here.
Yeah, exactly. So what I'm going to show, and again, this is a demo, but it's an end-to-end demo. And I called it Smart to Do. And this is one of the journeys that are available. And if we scroll on down, in essence, it's a pretty straightforward demo, but there's still a lot of moving parts. We have an iOS app, could be Android too, of course, but in this one, it's going to be iOS. That's going to talk up to Azure Functions, and that's going to get us into two things. First off, Microsoft Foundry, because this is a smart to do app, Anna. I want it to help me with my to dos.
Of course.
But we need to store those to dos somewhere. We need a data store. And so we're going to use Azure SQL as the database for that.
Awesome. Cool. What else is like, what's in the setup and how does it work?
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, let me launch the sim here.
Oh, cool.
And so I want to point out something real quick. This is Xcode. I'm not really an Xcode developer. But again, with the proper planning and thought and iteration over your plan, you could do some pretty amazing things. So we're going to have time to go through all the code, but here's, some of the code, Swift code. If you do C sharp, it looks a lot like C sharp. But the app idea, let me pull up the simulator, is I have these to do. So for example, let's say I have to give a talk about something. So I'm going to say, create conference talk. Now, a lot of times when you do to-dos, that's like all you put, and then it's sort of on you to fill in the
Uh-huh.
blanks of what that means. So this should now go out, and I just thought it might have to warm up. No, it was pretty quick, my functions API, but looks like it warmed up pretty quick. And then when I go into here, I can now say, all right, based on that, and obviously that's extremely vague, but based on that, let's generate some potential steps that I would have to go through to actually do this. Now, this is where SQL Server is going to come in, Microsoft Foundry. So this is calling into, I think I used GPT-5 Mini or something like that. And notice it just put
Nice.
together like, here's the things we think, you might want to do to create a conference talk. So let's see. I don't know. Are these good, Anna? Confirm constraints, audience deadlines. Okay,
Look pretty
yeah.
good.
Create a logical slide outline, build slides. Yeah, okay. It's not bad. Not bad. You could regenerate it if you want. But now in SQL Server, this should all be stored. In fact, I have the lovely SQL extension here for
Nice.
VS Code. And if we go in, let's just go into the action steps. In fact, let me just do select. I'm not going to have many rows here, but we'll see what we can get here for generating this. And voila, here's my new ones. These were seeded. These are fake ones, but these are the new ones right here. So there's finalized files, find a clear, confirm constraints, everything you just saw.
Nice.
So obviously, Microsoft Foundry in the model generated these things. We generated the to-do. And while it's a very basic app, there's still a lot, to this from the standpoint of, hey, I want to get this all the way to Azure with Azure SQL and Foundry and functions and, the whole shebang. So that's kind of the demo part of it.
Okay. I mean, that looks great. So now I guess as far as agentic workflows, like what happens now?
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is where folks that might be a little bit newer to the AI side, where it's like you see all the vibe coding things out there and it's fun, but at some point you kind of, got to get serious about it and be like, what's our security story?
Mhm.
What services are we using? How are we deploying in a reproducible way? All that stuff. So just to show you real quick, each of these journeys has a planning document. And so for this one, you can actually write this in whatever language you like for the functions that talk to Azure SQL. But we kind of break things down into phases. So here's the data access layer, for example. And we have some models that are a little bit lower. Let me scroll down. You'll see those. We have some data models. And so we're actually using, and for those that haven't seen it, in something like Copilot CLI or just GitHub Copilot, if I hit the little icon here, I use Copilot CLI, we can do /plan and then just give it a prompt. And that's how I started with the plan that you actually see, right here, was with plan mode. And then, of course, you iterate over it. Now, this one I got pretty specific, you'll see. I actually put into the plan exactly what I wanted. You don't have to do that, but of course, then it's more variable.
Mhm.
But, some indexes, things like that, pretty normal stuff. Endpoints, and then the plan just keeps going. Now, what the journey will do, and we won't have time to go through all this, but it will actually walk you through all the prompts to go through phase by phase. Let's get the API going. Let's get the database going. Let's get this going step by step. And that's kind of the end goal of it.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do I I'm kind of obviously familiar with like plan mode, generating my plan, generating my PRD, and then telling Copilot CLI or the chat to just go do it. Like how do I enlist this agentic journey flows?
As far as when you say enlist, how do you kick it off, or what do you mean
Yeah,
there?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, to be honest, so I just ran, in fact, let me just run over real quick to the portal. I just ran this yesterday because it does take 15, 20 minutes or so to get
Okay.
all the resources allocated. You can see here's everything it did. So there's my SQL and my server and database and all that. Here's my functions app, little storage behind the functions and app insights. Pretty standard stuff, right? Um, to kick all that off, I actually have a skill that I have. In fact, it's in the repo. And so you'll see this thing called a journey runner skill.
Okay.
So I actually, to test these, because I'm not going to go through all this document every time. It's just too time consuming, right? So I have this little journey runner skill. I ran it yesterday. It took about 20 minutes or so to get everything deployed. But that will do everything, including here's the code, just to give you an idea. This is the API code right here. And then we have, of course, the iOS code right here. But we also, and this is the important part, we have our Bicep. This was all generated by the plan and the AI agent, including, we go down to here, we should see SQL Server in here, stuff like that. Notice there's even like firewall rules and things like that. So To kind of enlist or kick this off,
Mhm.
normally you would go through that document I was just looking at, and it'll
Uh-huh.
walk you through step by step the prompts that use the plan.
Okay, got it, got it. So basically, if I'm doing my own project, then I can, like call the skills, call the plan. That's the part I'm trying to understand. Like, this is great for to do, but what if I'm doing like my own new thing?
Yeah. So in that case, first off, you might not have just one plan. You might have phased documents that you go through a course. Depends. I do like to have a kind of master plan, if you will,
Uh-huh.
like the architecture, so it
Uh-huh.
understands that up front. But I think from there, whether you have one or multiple planning documents, I think the key there is iterating over that enough that you literally can run through that plan and get a quick prototype going and kind of prove it out quickly without spending, even hours
Mhm. Mhm.
doing that. And so what I do is when I run this plan, it'll run into errors sometimes. It could be there's a bicep parameter that's wrong or whatever it is. I will actually tell it to output a kind of a list of errors, if you will, issues. I call it issues
Mhm.
dot markdown.
Uh-huh.
And then I will tell it to iterate over those issues and use those to improve the plan. Um,
Nice.
and that way it like self learns, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, Dan, I learned a lot. I'm sure viewers did as well. Do you have any final tips or tricks or advice for folks who are just kind of getting started with Azure Agentic journeys?
I think my number one advice is review often. Um, with any of the AI assistants out there, like I do this one all the time. Slash review. So much code is being generated now that it's hard to keep up with us humans. I don't know, Anna, maybe you're like can just scan it and go, oh, there's a bug there. But I
Nope.
still got to take time to do it. And so I constantly am reviewing and asking it to look at very specific things. I'm very picky. And so I don't like AI slop. I want it to be solid. I want it to be maintainable. So I think my biggest advice would be if you're going to jump into this, especially if you're new to it, don't go like for hours and then say review it. Iterate over it constantly on that. And that's really going to help you get a lot further down the road without a mess. So
Awesome. No, that's great. Well, Dan, thanks again for coming on the show. I learned a lot. To our viewers, if you like this episode, go ahead, leave it a like and a comment for letting us know like what you've used it for, what you think of it. We'll put a link to the repo and maybe some other resources in the description. And we hope to see you next time on Data Exposed.